Hello, dreamers, doers, believers, and achievers, wonderful winners, and powerful people. How are you? I'm Dwayne E.Shigg, and welcome to another edition of Talking Books, the place for people who like books, reading them or writing them. And we have a powerful guest tonight. You're going to find this very beneficial and interesting. If you have children, if you're a parent, grandparent, aunt, uncle, you're going to find this author very helpful for you. We're talking with Miss Julene Butler, and she is the author, get this title, I love this title, Knots in My Laces and Knots in My Tummy. Very, very, very powerful, attractive title. Miss Julene Butler, welcome to Talking Books. How are you today?
I am great, thanks. I'm so honored to be a part of your show. Thank you very much for having me.
We are much better because you're here, so I thank you. This title, Knots in My Laces, Knots in My Tummy, very, very interesting title. Tell me, where did the title come from?
So when thinking about coming up with the title of the book, I was really thinking about some of the experiences of children, especially children that struggle with anxiety. And one of the symptoms that is quite common is having sensitivity around the stomach area, having tummy aches. And in past, some children have actually described feeling knots in their tummy as a result of feeling anxious about a situation. And so that's sort of where the knots came from. Now, knots in my laces, as we know as children, children often go through shoelaces being untied all the time, even on the playground or, even just out in, community walks with family or friends. This is something that they experience. And so I just really tried to blend the two, make it a little fun. And that's how I came up with the title.
And you did that. We're going to talk about what the book is about. But let me ask you, what drew you into writing? Is this your first book? And what drew you into writing?
So this is my first book. To be honest with you, I think what drew me into writing was having my own personal experience with anxiety. I struggled with anxiety for a bit, and sometimes still do, to be quite honest. And also in my work environment, I work with a lot of youth and have worked with children who struggle with anxiety. So I think for me, it was really about wanting to write a book that provides opportunity for more conversation, and also for children to feel comfortable with being able to identify and articulate with what some of the symptoms are. Because as we know, children don't always have the words to describe and express what they're feeling. So by me creating this resource, it was really, a fun way, a parent-friendly, child-friendly book to allow them that opportunity to be able to identify and connect with, what this little boy is experiencing in the book.
Oh, great. So give us, you've alluded to it, but can you give us a synopsis or introduction? Give us a peek into what the book is about.
So the book is really about a character, a little boy who struggles with anxiety, and the book goes through different scenarios and situations where, this little boy is exhibiting certain symptoms of anxiety. And so the book really provides, again, an opportunity for the reader to be able to make that connection, because it is difficult for children to be able to, label what it is they may be experiencing. So that's really what it's about.
Okay, that's good. So it's a book to help recognize the anxiety.
That's right.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it is a book to help recognize the anxiety, and also a book to help start those conversations about, mental health, specifically anxiety, because it is one of those sensitive topics. So with a parent that is reading this book to their child, it's very simplified, beautiful, welcoming pictures and words for children to feel like, they can talk about openly what's going on with them.
Okay, so you seem to have made it made it easy, and I like the word you use, comfortable. You made it easy and comfortable to have this conversation.
That's right.
Why is there, or if you agree, that there seems to be a stigma in terms of talking about mental health, especially in our community? From your experience, is that pretty much true, and why do you think that is?
I will agree that I have observed over the years, and just growing up as a child, I noticed that yes, there is a stigma attached to mental health, and often it's almost as if it's taboo. There is discomfort, and I'm still trying to understand why that is. I think a lot of it may have to do with culturally. Some of it may have to do with religious beliefs. And there's a bit of shame and embarrassment that comes along with it. And again, this is why, just going back to why I wrote the book, is because I really want to provide more opportunity for people to feel comfortable and to understand that if you are struggling with, a mental illness, it's okay. There is support out there for you. And you can rise above it, So just going back to what you said, yes, I do believe there's a stigma. I'm still trying to understand it myself. But, my hopes is that with this book, along with, other resources, people will begin to develop some comfort and understand that, there are people that are struggling, and it's okay, and there is help for them.
You are a child and youth practitioner.
Sorry, I think I just lost you there. The volume sort of went. Still not hearing you. I apologize. I don't know what's on my side here. There you go.
Okay. All right.
There we go.
I apologize for that. My question was, you are a child and youth practitioner when I was reading your bio. So can you shed some light on that, and what does that mean, and what do you do?
Okay, so I am an educator. I'm a child and youth worker. I work in one of the largest school boards in Ontario. And really, a child and youth worker, there's various platforms that a child and youth worker can work in. I work in a alternative attendance program with youth who are focusing on completing their high school credits. The role of a child and youth worker, as I said, can be quite different depending on the setting. However, generally, a child and youth worker supports youth, children and youth that is, who struggle social, emotionally, psychologically. In a lot of cases, you are there to support the children or the youth behaviorally as well. So that's pretty much it.
Oh, okay. If you just joined us, we are on Talking Books, speaking with Miss Julene Butler. Am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Ms. Butler, who is a child practitioner. She is also the author of Knots in My Laces and Knots in My Stomach, a book that deals with mental health, especially in children. Are there some common signs or telltale signs that a child may be dealing with some anxiety issues, some mental issues, something that parents, grandparents could recognize and maybe say, oh, maybe there's something I need to do about this? Is there some common things?
Absolutely. And yes, there is, and I will answer that, but I did want to make a point of that although there are a variety of signs and symptoms that a child or a youth can exhibit, I need to say that anxiety is quite normal. We all experience from time to time. The situation is that whenever anxiety sort of increases and impairs your ability to function, daily, that's when we got to look at things deeper. And so in my book, I point out some of the signs, which could be, you know, a child that might be bedwetting, or a child that might be having difficulty separating from a parent. We call that separation anxiety. Or, you know, in some cases, you may have a child that really has difficulty forming relationships, social relationships. And so in a school setting, you may find that child is very isolated and has difficulty, you know, connecting with other kids and socializing. You know, some other examples may be a phobia. Some children have extreme phobias to things. And so these are all some symptoms and signs that if a parent, you know, is questioning whether their child or a young person that they may be interacting with is struggling with anxiety, these are some things that they may want to pay attention to.
That's very good. And I'm glad that you brought that up. You spoke about anxiety being normal, because oftentimes, you know, people can throw labels out, and, you know,
That's
just
right.
because a person is exhibiting certain things, that doesn't automatically mean that they have this issue. They, you know, it's a normal, you know, anxiety is normal. Like I said,
That's
you know, for a 6-year-old, or, you know, I'm 61 and I get anxiety, anxious, so, you know.
right, right.
And so we can't automatically label people. That is good. I'm glad you brought that point up.
Right.
You alluded to it earlier, but I think I want to touch this again. Parents and children being able to talk about this issue. What's wrong with Mary? What's wrong with Johnny? Why is it difficult, as specific to, you know, parent and child? If it in your experience it is difficult, why do you think that is, and how can parents alleviate that difficulty, the problem?
I think it's difficult. I'm a parent, and I can speak from being a parent that I think it's difficult for any parent to come to terms or accept the fact that their child may be struggling, and especially struggling with a mental illness.
Okay.
And so I think part of it could be because of denial, you know, and in general, I think we want to know that our kids are well functioning and well rounded. And so it's very sensitive to talk about. Yeah. And again, along with that comes, you know, unfortunately, there's the shame and the judgments that come from society in terms of, you know, going back to the stigma, you know, if your child has a mental illness, you know, there's like, you know, they're not good, or they won't be able to excel, right. Or, you know, so I think from a parent perspective, that's what I was sort of feeling. You know, this is why a parent may have difficulty having the conversation. Now, one thing is, I think important is that I can't stress enough that again, anxiety is something that is quite normal for us as humans, as individuals, children and adults. And so we have to get to that place of understanding that, you know, only when it's, I guess, reaching a point of severity where it's really affecting your ability to function, you know, that's where we have to start sort of digging deeper.
Okay. So not just existing as a sense of normalcy, but as you said, it's getting in the problem of going to school, tying your shoes, communicating, or whatever the case may be.
That's right. Right.
Okay. Is there an age range for your book?
Yes. So my book is for children ages 6 to 8.
Okay. And then who is the audience? Is it the child or the parent, or grandparent, or aunt, uncle, whatever the case may be?
So in this particular situation, I would say that for my book, the audience really it's a combination of two.
Okay.
It is for children. It is a children's book, but it is designed in a way where, you know, a parent could definitely, you know, have a read with their child, son or daughter, or, you know, a child that they may be interacting with. And it's very simple enough so that both the child can understand and the parent can actually get some substance from the book as well. The book also, in the back of the book, it also talks about, just there's a tip sheet for parents that really goes into explaining that if you are feeling that your child is experiencing this, here's what you need to do. Here's what you can do. So it's beneficial for the parent as well, or the adult, because there's some information in there that really provides support with what do we do next. Okay, so we've got a child that we may be, we may be thinking that this child is struggling with, this illness. What happens next? So there's just a tip sheet to help parents have sort of a guideline. So it's beneficial for both. It's for the young person as well as the parent or the adult in their life.
Oh, very good. And you alluded to it. I was going to ask you, the book itself, is it story form? Does it, give answers and Q&A type thing, and things of that nature? And you alluded to it. So it's a book of resources, not just conversation.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's good. That's good, because oftentimes there are times when we'll read something, and they'll tell you what's wrong, but okay, I know what's wrong with me now. What do I do?
That's right.
Leave me up there. And so I'm glad that your book does that. So what will the parent, child, reader, what will they go away with after reading your book?
I think after reading my book, what they will walk away with is feeling assured and confident that they're not the only one that is struggling. And they will walk away with, as a child, the child will walk away with the feeling and understanding that there's nothing wrong with me. I'm just struggling. I'm struggling with something. And there's other children that can relate to that, or people that can relate to that. And as a parent, you're going to walk away with more knowledge in the most simplest way, and sort of like information and resource with what do I do next? So for both the parent and the child, they're going to walk away and feel a sense of relief. That's my hope, because the book is very informative for both.
That is great. So walking away with some answers, with some assurances, and I loved what you said, the child walking away with the understanding that there's nothing wrong with me.
Right.
And
that's right.
And that's powerful. That's powerful. I really like that. And what has been the response from people concerning the book?
So far, not bad. It is my first book, first publication. So I'm doing a lot of marketing. I think people have been very impressed by the book and honestly feel that it is an amazing children's book that provides, again, an open door for conversation,
right.
and answers to those questions that, we may not know. So I've been getting a pretty good response.
That's good. That's good. And timing, it comes at a good time, I guess you will. Maybe a bad situation here I live in California, you're in Canada, but here,
right.
We're pretty much on lockdown. I mean,
that's right.
People can move around. I don't know what the circumstances are in Canada, but
now,
we have something productive we can do while we're at home, if you will.
That's right. And we are on lockdown, in Canada. And, a lot of the students here are working virtually. They're working remotely on their subjects. And, we have seen an increase in mental health and anxiety because for many students, they need that direct contact. We're social beings. So we're not used to being locked in, right? And so for a lot of these children, they're struggling a lot with anxiety because they're locked in and they really don't have an understanding as to what's really happening, right? And so I would say it's pretty much the same as it is in the States.
And I was going to ask you what type of reaction, pressure, effect this type of circumstance would have on, you know, the readers, children, in terms as it relates to anxieties. It would probably heighten because they are not sure of what's going on. The adults are supposed to fix this, and they don't have any answers. So I'm 6. What am I supposed to do?
That's right. That's right. So that's exactly what we're seeing, is that, you know, it's affecting them in so many ways. You know, so yeah.
Really, really. What would you say maybe, and I asked this before, but in terms of specific to the anxiety that may be coming from this whole COVID situation, what would you say are one of the ways or common ways that it will affect them or influence them, if there is such a thing?
Yeah, I think you sort of nailed it just a while ago. I think one of the ways that it would affect children is plain and simple, just not understanding what's going on and questioning, why can't it be fixed, and why is this happening? And so nobody really has the answers, right? And so yeah, why are we wearing a mask, and why do we have to use so much sanitizer? Like these are very simple things, but in the mind of a child, I'm not 100% sure that they would really get what's going on. And so that definitely would heighten things for them.
Very good, very good. Talking books, we're talking with Miss Julene Butler. She is the author of Knots in My Laces, Knots in My Tummy, a book dealing with anxiety, mental health with children. If you're a mother, a father, a grandmother, a grandfather, an aunt, an uncle, or a neighbor, somebody that cares about children, you need to get a copy of this book. And so, Ms. Butler, how can people get a copy of the book?
So the book is available on Amazon, both the paperback and Kindle version. And, you know, people can always access the book on my direct website. If they go to julenebutler.ca, they'll be able to purchase it directly off my website as well.
Okay, give us the website one more time.
Okay, so it's Julene, Julene, Butler, BUTLER.ca. And that is my direct website. If they go to my website and they go to the drop-down menu and hit the tab that says books, it will give you access to purchase the book.
Very good, very good. So how can people get in touch with you if someone wants you to come and speak or speak virtually or anything of that nature, or contact you? How can they reach you?
So if they'd like to reach me to do any sort of engagement, they can also access me on that website, as well as my Facebook business page, which is Julene, Julene, Butler, BUTLER-author. Okay, and they can definitely reach out to me there.
Very, very good. We've been talking to Miss Julene Butler on Talking Books. Her book, Knots in My Laces and Knots in My Tummy, dealing with anxieties and mental health with concerning children. Very informative, engaging, and empowering book. As I said earlier, if you're a parent, a grandparent, an uncle, or just a concerned neighbor, you need to get this book, because there's a lot of things that are going on that could cause children to have anxiety. So you need to get a copy of this book. I want to thank you, Miss Butler. What's next for you?
I'm actually working on some other projects, probably another book.
Okay.
Probably another book.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. That's good. Glad that you joined us today on Talking Books. This is a place for people who like books, reading them or writing them. If you have a book that you want to talk about, you want to promote, and you want to contact us to have your book talked about and promoted through Talking Books, you can reach us at drshigg@gmail.com. My email, drshigg@gmail.com. If you'd like to follow or contact me, you can follow me on Instagram at encourageman, the letter N, Courage Man. Go to our Facebook page, Your Encouragement, and Mint is M-I-N-T. I want to thank you, Ms. Butler, for being with us today, and much success on your book. It's going to help a lot of people.
Thank you so much for having me. It was such a pleasure.
Not a problem. And to our readers, as always, I want you to remember that the dream is doable. So go get it. Stay encouraged. Be blessed.